Uh, let's see. Frontline, you got the notification. Great, 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 great. What's up, fight fans? We are back at it with another edition here at Round One Sports TV. I am always your host, Edwin, and where do all fights start?
Round one.
Yeah. We have an amazing show for you here today. Frontline, why don't you hop on fast? Um, I have a lot of questions that a lot of the fans have been asking. Frontline has a lot of questions he wanted to ask me as well. So we're going to get into this episode right here. We're going to be talking about all the top stories in boxing, whatever stories or fighters you want to talk about. I'm going to open up the Discord right now. Give me a second. Almost forgot about that. Let me do that right now. In fact, so I will be taking calls now on Discord. Same process. Just use your hand to wave to get on the Discord, and you can join me on Discord at Round One Sports Talk server. Right. I'm gonna start the stage now. Stage topic today. What is gonna be the stage topic? Uh all right, we're gonna try this today. Anything boxing. This is gonna be the first. So I'm in Discord. I'm in Round One Sports Talk server, and at the sound of the bell is the room you can enter. The room is called at the sound of the bell. You can go there, hop in. I'm taking calls in Discord. All right, let me put this up. What's up with my picture? Why was it doing that? All right, hold on. Let me let me drag this over here as well. Throw that up right there. That's good. All right. So I got the Discord set up. Once again, you could join, you could call in at Round One Sports Talk and ask me boxing questions and what's on your mind. You could join the Discord at Round One Sports Talk server, and the room is when you get there is at the sound of the bell. You can get there right there. And don't forget to smash that like button. So we got a lot to talk about. Let's get right to it. Frontline, what are you doing? Want me to drop the link for you here? What's up? God bless, brother. Alvarez, join us on the Discord if you can. Be one of my first callers to call in. Goki, my man, what's up? Everybody joining in. I'm just announcing that I have opened up the Discord. You can join me at Round One Sports Talk server. The room is called At the Bell when you get there. And I've set up the Discord so I can take calls. Let me see if I can throw up my video, right? Uh let's see here. I forgot all about that too. Oh shit, it will take my camera away over here. I can't do that, right? Uh I would have to put that camera like okay. And then hold on. Hold up, hold up, hold up, hold up, hold up. I would try to I would have to let me turn my camera back on here. Hold on. I would have to go in my settings and put this back on. Bam. All right. So that camera's back on. So this is that one right there. How would I do that over here? I think I would have to turn it on like that, right? Okay. All right. Good. Okay. Turn on camera. Bam. There he goes. All right. We learning. We learning. We learning. We are learning right now. Look at us. Look at us doing big things. Huh? July 12th. A lot of Matias haters gonna be upset. They are going to be upset. Let's talk about it. That's the first fight that was mentioned here right now. Koki is here now. He's asking the right questions. Why don't we see let's talk about what he has to say. Now, oh yeah, one more thing. I would like to also as well put your guys' chats all the way up here. Fixed, set up now. And soon I'll start getting up everything right, you know. Here, let me wait. Let me move that to the side a little, right? It still's not letting me. What up, Frontline? Hold on. Yo, this shit is pretty cool. Trying to set this up right here now. But anyway, I'm gonna leave it like that. What's up, Frontline? How you doing?
What's going on?
I was just answering Coquise, a lot of
Koki ready. Koki ready.
people
Koki always ready. That's my
stay,
boy right there.
he stay ready. Listen,
Koki got fire for whoever wanted, especially if you're talking about Matias.
listen, let's talk
Koki will
about
hit
the
you
man.
with nothing but stats.
Yeah.
Facts.
Yo,
He
check
got
it
the
out
smoke for everybody,
for
especially
everybody.
the Haney haters. I mean
Oh man,
the ones that be stroking Haney. Yeah,
yeah,
he got smoke. He
yeah.
got smoke for them too.
He got smoke for them too. Yo, check it out, right? I was going over footage, right? And because the fight, I have to admit, Alberto Puello's a pretty decent fighter, a pretty decent boxer in his own right. And the fight, it's a 50-50 fight. The night can go either way depending on who catches who first. So I'm watching Alberto Puello, and I couldn't help but notice that when he was shining the best, it was against real low opposition, like real low. And he was able to do pretty much what he wanted to. Most of the guys he was fighting wasn't really throwing back at the beginning. Then when I noticed that his competition started stepping up, Alberto Puellos, and he started fighting the Sandor Martins of the world, Gary Antoine Russells, and etc., he wasn't knocking out anybody. Not only wasn't he not knocking anybody out, he really didn't stagger or wobble or like really like hurt the guys. I mean, Sandor Martin fight, he stunned him a couple times here and there, and I think Sandor Martin gassed out a little, and he let off the brake, and he allowed Alberto Puello back into that fight. He really did. The size of the ring, 18 feet, I think is going to play a factor. Then I started breaking down Alberto Puello's his fighting style. I started noticing, bro, yo, when he goes on the attack, his right arm drops right here and he swings with conviction and he starts throwing. He When he thinks he has the opponent really hurt, he kind of becomes less defensively sound. When he's at the most dangerous is when you're pressuring him. When Gary Antoine Russell was pressuring him and he went into his defense. He was slipping punches, rolling and countering beautifully off of Gary Antoine Russell. So I see where he's most dangerous at, and I see where he's real vulnerable at. When he's throwing punches, like let's say a lot of fighters hit Subriel and they hit him and he keeps going forward and they're getting through the guard and he slaps his hands together and goes forward. He kind of like allows you to do that. If he can lure him into a false sense of confidence, Alberto Puello, and Alberto Puello, you know how he leans to try to hit that body shot? He like takes that step and leans this way and tries to snap the body. Same way Tim Tszyu got knocked out. Tim Tszyu went to lean in for that body shot and got snapped, right? That punch in the left, well, Subriel doesn't throw a left check hook like this. He throws it from the hip. It's real cortito and it's on the inside. And when Alberto Puello starts to wind up like that, that's where I see Subriel Matias' opportunity. I'm telling you guys right now, Subriel catches him with that shot in the third round, it's going to be hard for him to make it to the eighth, because after that, it's pretty much when the downfall of Subriel's opponents start. Once he starts bludgeoning them, I really believe this. He's going to hit Alberto Puello with some shots that his fucking brain is going to be rattling, okay? And I think he's actually going to stop him. I think Subriel is actually, my money is on two things with Subriel Matias. We really don't go to the scorecard too much in his fights. You know, we went to the scorecard when he lost, and that was it. It's either you're going to the scorecard and he loses, or he's either knocking you out or stopping you, making you say no mas. So those are your options when you're fighting a man like this, right? Um, I don't see this fight going the distance either way, you know. And I like Alberto Puello's style too. Alberto got more of a boxing style. He knows how to use his feet. He knows how to spin the fighter, and he knows how to be good. But like I said, he does all this while comfortable. He doesn't have you when you go back and watch his fight, watch him, and you're gonna see. You know, he's spinning these guys, he's jabbing them, he's hitting to the body, and he's getting very little resistance. When he started fighting, you know, and Gary Antoine Russell, the only thing with Gary Antoine Russell, man, and I like him as a man, I like him as a person, I like what his family stands for, I like what they have, you know, they bring to the sport of boxing. But if I had to be honest, um, he's a bit overhyped for me, Gary Antoine Russell, just a bit. He's he's strong, he's good, but Alberto Puello exposed that. Alberto Puello showed him when it comes to boxing and you don't know how to make adjustments, you're screwed. Gary Antoine Russell made no adjustments.
So Edwin, speaking of adjustments, right? You got the 18 by 18 ring now that they're implementing in the fight.
Right.
That being said, a lot of people say now it's going to be a boring fight because Puello is going to be running as much as he can. That being said, I don't see Puello as being a runner. I see him more of a mover. Can you explain what's the difference between a runner and a mover?
Good point. Good point. Well, seeing that this is a Turkey Al Sheikh funded event, right? And he is expressed in the media about he will no longer support fighters that run. Okay. So he made the ring small to try to make engagement. Now, the difference between a runner and a mover, there's gonna have to be uh there's gonna have to be something established where you can identify a runner and a mover, meaning a runner is a guy that's avoiding the action and also evading. Paul Butler, when he fought Naoya Inoue, all he did was shell up, run up in a guard, but he had no offense. Now, he was running. He was trying to survive. He didn't want to be in there. He wasn't engaging. That's running. Now, if you're moving and being mobile and using your feet, I don't think they should take that away from the sport of boxing. And most people are going to try to confuse that with running. No, evading, getting away from your opponent, shuffling your feet, and trying to bait your opponent in by a subtle movement back, forward, or to the side to catch him with a good shot is not running. You must identify when the fighter is moving, is he engaging? There might be subtle moments where he's shuffling away, getting himself, positioning back. Okay, you got that, that moment of inactivity right there. It's only a few seconds. Then you settle in. You need to throw a jab quick. He does. Okay, show that who's being the more aggressor. You see, you show that you're there to fight, not to evade and avoid confrontation. When you start to notice that the puncher's just being a one punch puncher, like chap, chap, and moving. Now, what Devin Haney did against Jose Ramirez can be on that line where the referee can stop him and tell him you need to pick up the action. In fact, without Turkey bringing this rule up, that's technically what the referee is supposed to do. I'm pretty sure if you can think back, remember, there has been moments in the ring where the referee has told the guys and the fans are booing and the referee saying, hey, guys, pick up the action. You've heard that before. They've just never really enforced it because they don't train a referee to be able to determine evading, moving, running, and avoiding. That's what you got to determine.
So I don't know how true this is, but Coquita said Puello declined the 18 by 18 ring.
He has no say in it. Puello. He can go publicly and say, I don't want the 18-18 ring. Who gives a fuck what he says? You're not the main event, and you're not paying the bill. I don't think Puello has enough power to change the ring because of his liking. I think you're like what, the third fight on the card, maybe the fourth. You can go on social media all you want and say, nah, I don't want that 18. That doesn't mean they're gonna change it. Typically, the people that have the say in matters like this are the main event. You know what I'm saying? It's pretty much on, I would think, on Edgar Berlanga and Hamza Shari and their managers and who picked it, who sanctioned it. And pretty much if Turki Al-Rashid stepped in and he picked the ring, let's say Turki said, don't worry about picking the ring because I'm paying for the entire event. Plus, I'm paying all of you, right? And I'm telling you, the ring's going to be 18 feet. There's nothing none of these fighters can do. Absolutely nothing. But pull out from all the millions.
I had a question about that. I have a question about the ring size, right?
Yep.
I thought that.
Yo. First of all, when you come into Round One Sports Talk, you say what's up to every fucking body. You don't just start talking shit.
What's up, buddy?
My bad. You're right, man.
What's up, buddy?
Shout out to Round One, man. He breaks it down very, very well. En arroz habichuela, como decimos, you know. Easy for us, you know what I'm saying? And shout out to Frontline, man. Shout out to everybody in the chat, everybody that's around. Make sure y'all hit that like button, you know what I'm saying?
Absolutely.
Yo, I had a question about that.
Yep.
I thought that fighters actually signed the contract, and on the contract, the size of the ring was implemented or was there.
Yes, it is. 100%. That is a fact, Jack.
Well, yeah, that's what Jeffrey just said. He said the issue was that they already agreed to the ring size. Can't
Yeah.
just last minute change the ring
No,
size.
you can't. You're not, and they're not gonna go to. But that's what I'm bringing to you guys' attention right now. This is what I'm saying to you guys. Did Turkey, and if any of you have this information or a privilege to look it up on Google, right, and see if this is fact. But if Turkey himself picked the ring size because of the fact of his fear of guys giving us these lackluster fights, I got to admit, Turkey has the power to do that. He's hosting the event. He's not dealing with two promoters that are arguing over the ring size. No, that's not what's happening. He's only arguing with himself. He owns all the fighters, all the promoters in this situation. He pulls the strings right now. Turkey. That's just
I actually thought that he's the one who changed it at the last minute.
I don't know. Maybe he did.
Okay,
Maybe he did.
We already had a date, and we had a date and location picked and everything.
No, well, you just because you have a date and location doesn't mean you have the ring size. You know what I'm saying? Now,
But like you said, doesn't whoever the main event is, don't they determine what the ring size is gonna
typically
be?
yes. Typically yes, guys. You guys are right. It's supposed to be Edgar Berlanga's management and Hamza Shari's management. It's supposed to discuss the size of the gloves, what make, whose name's gonna be in the ring, what size is the ring, who's the A side, who's the B side, you know, shit like that. And they get to pick. Yes, that's a normal scheduled boxing event with two promoters. Let's say Ed Hearn and Top Rank. That's how it goes. They get to pick the ring size and all that. But that's not this situation. This situation is Turkey's funding everything. If whatever he wants pretty much is unfortunately it's gonna go. If he feels like, bro, I want to make sure if in his head he thinks, here's an idea. Why don't we make the ring 18 feet and it'll avoid them from running? You know what, Turkey? Brilliant. Change the ring size. He could do whatever the fuck he wants, you know, because, you know, and then when the contracts were offered to the fighters, let's remember, first there's several processes that need to be checked off. First, you got to accept the fight. Then we got to get a venue. Then after there, we have another meeting and we discuss the gloves, the ring size, and all of that. Then the fight is on. You
Got it. So that's probably in the third stage.
Yeah.
Is where people are getting the information that Puello and Shiraz declined or didn't want that.
Yeah, because then they were notified. Then they were notified. And then Puello, obviously, Puello and Shiraz, had they been told that in the negotiation in their contract, they would have said no then. They would have said no then. They're being informed about it right now. Mira, esto lo que hay. 18 feet. Mira, pow. And they're like, oh, hell no. What the hell is this? And pow. Nope. That's why I'm saying the way I'm looking at it, there's only one man that can do that without you going into the fight, signing a contract, and the ring size wasn't established. Wow.
You're fucked at that point because you got to sign contract.
You already signed the contract. You know what I'm saying? They got you.
Chicago April wants to know if you want to go 2 for 2. Norman Jr. in what round?
Oh shit. Chicago April. Round 1. You want to go for 2 for 2? No, in what round? Let me see.
I gotta
you gotta get the Oracle. You gotta get the Oracle.
Okay, hold on. Because I picked the 8th round in the last fight on the Boxing Voice, so they already know my skills. They want boxing information. Hold on, I gotta talk to the Oracle. Why, yes, my great boxing Oracle. Who's gonna win this fight? What? Brian Norman Jr.? What round? No. Double down on the same round? Got it. Brian Norman Jr., 8th round stoppage. Mark it. Put it down in the books. Put it down in the books. I
Bro, I'm gonna have to disagree with you on that one,
Yeah. Why?
and I'm gonna tell you why. Jin
Why?
Sasaki,
Yeah.
he's a good fighter. He can catch Norman, but the problem with Sasaki is when he lets his hands go, he is wide open. That being said, I think I think Norman can get him out between four, like four.
I thought that. I thought that.
Coqui said you're Walter Mercado now.
That's right. Ah, ¿dónde está tú sabes, los jackets
Wonder
ese que se
Boy, a
ponía
Wonder Boy.
con toda la prenda?
Yes.
Espérate. Wait a minute, bro. I gotta turn into Walter Mercado right now, bro. Okay, that is a fucking high honor right there. Okay, all right. That motherfucker used to call shit. Look at, bam, huh?
Hey, and you got and like Chicago said, you got to end your predictions con mucho y mucho amor.
Con mucho y mucho amor. Yo, that dude's a fucking legend. He's
You
a
ain't
fucking,
shit.
he's a legend, bro. That dude. My grandmother used to watch that dude faithfully, bro. Faithfully, bro. That's how I
Dude,
know him. That should be
him
playing
and
him.
Juan Gabriel had the same face.
Man, listen, both them dudes, you knew what time it was. As soon as I saw that dude, even when I was a little kid, I was like, there's some sugar in that tank. You know what I'm saying?
Oh, heavy.
right. But as a staple, just because he's like that, so fuck it. But as a Latin man, and his show, bro, his name rings bells, bro. That
For sure.
motherfucker's name is rings bell. But anyway,
Hey,
guys, look.
TiVo, his workout streams are in the morning between 10 and 10:30.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Between 10 and 10:30, yeah, we get it in. As you guys can see, we on day 3. Yo, guys, I ain't gonna front. I'm hurting. I am hurting. Like everything hurts, everything. But the thing is that you guys motivate me and I try to motivate you guys. I think that, every time I pop on, I'm getting anywhere upwards between 60 and 100 viewers, and you guys are staying on with me. So you guys motivate me to get up and work out. Cause I'm gonna tell you right now, I wanted to stay in bed again this morning. But when we tune in tomorrow, we're gonna do a little bit of calisthenics. Bring your jumping rope with you. Because we're going outside and we're jumping rope tomorrow. We got to break it up. You can't work out every day. You need about a day of rest. So 3 on, 1 off, 3 on, 1 off. But the 1 off we take, we get stamina. We're gonna do stomach and jumping rope. All right, guys. So just be prepared for tomorrow. So as far as the fight, guys, uh, boxing outcome. What do you think about Shakur Stevenson in his fight? And do you feel like if Shakur Stevenson came out with the Puerto Rican flag, will the Puerto Rican fans support him?
You know, I don't really get into that type of political type of debate, or uh, agreement disagreement with people. I think that for me is fine. I really like, to me is however he feels inside.
Mhm.
There's a lot of Puerto Ricans that are born in the States that sometimes catch bullshit from Puerto Ricans in the island because they're not raised in the island, or
Right.
they say, oh, you're not Boricua. But there's a poem out there that a lot of you know, que yo soy Boricua hasta en la luna. So, it's really down to how Shakur Stevenson feels. And that's something that a lot of boxers should always keep in mind, is you shouldn't worry about how people feel about you. You should convince them that they're wrong about you.
Yeah, well, Frontline, how do you feel about that?
Well, his father's Puerto Rican,
Yeah.
and he's trying to embrace the Puerto Rican side. Regardless, he's got Puerto Rican blood in him.
Yep.
Um, it's like I said, I don't respect Tio for the reason that when he says something, he doesn't stand 10 toes down on it.
Mm-hmm.
If Shakur feels he's Puerto Rican, stand 10 toes down and fuck what the public says. You know what I'm
Mm-hmm.
saying?
Right.
That's how I feel. You know what I mean?
Right. Well, for me, look, um, I'm gonna be honest with you guys. If I allow any other man to stop me from becoming the man I am, I might as well just jump in his back pocket. To tell you the truth, the way I approach things, I
Things
wouldn't
I
ask
would
none
not.
of you for permission. I would come out with the flag, whether you booed, accepted me, whatever. This is what I want to do. You understand?
Right.
So, as far as that, my mindset is as such. I'm not saying that everybody feels the same way I do, and Shakur Stevenson, but I've seen him come out with the little Puerto Rican flag on his shorts. It's a big night for Puerto Ricans. It would mean a lot to a lot of us Puerto Rican fans if, well, anyway, I'm speaking for me, if he represented, because we have a few fighters from Puerto Rico as it is, and a lot of these Latin countries don't got many fighters anyway. um to get a special fighter like Shakur Stevenson and to find out his ethnicity, it's up to him. It's up to him. But I just want to say personally to Shakur Stevenson, I support you either way. American or Puerto Rican, you're still on the same side, to tell you the truth. And I hope he does great in that fight. Boxing outcome. Who do you think's gonna win that fight against Shakur and William Cepeda?
Recently I've seen a couple last fights of Shakur. I'm not gonna judge him of the Edwin de los Santos fight. I saw him against another Japanese fighter that was basically throwing blows in the inside, and he was able to defend himself. So I mean, if Shakur is that tight with his defense, he should honestly be able to win this fight, regardless of the 18 by 18. He should definitely be able to go toe to toe with William Cepeda and win this fight. I would say, Mexicans, whether you drop them or not, they don't give up. I don't think it's gonna be about. I'm not gonna say like landslide, it's not gonna be about knockout. I don't think it's gonna be like more like unanimous decision, maybe like 3-4 rounds on Shakur's side.
Hmm. What do you think, front line?
Well, first of all, I want to say there's 20 people in the chat and only 3 likes. Come on, y'all. Let's get those
Wow, come
likes
on,
up.
guys. Let's get those likes up.
Um, I said it before and I'm gonna say it again. If we get a healthy 100% Shakur, I got Shakur winning. If we get a Shakur that's hurt or is not at 100%, I can see the pressure of Cepeda overwhelming Shakur where he's not gonna be able to survive.
Or well, the way I see the fight, truthfully, the way I see the fight, man, I think when the final bell rings, it's gonna make it to the 12th round. I think Shakur Stevenson's gonna win the fight, unanimous decision. I think Cepeda's face is gonna be wearing it, and Shakur Stevenson is not gonna have too many. He's not gonna. Um,
Yo, but you got to understand too that Banda trained Shakur for the Olympics.
that's
So
okay.
so Banda's got Shakur's number as far as
No, he don't.
style. And one thing
Nah.
about Banda knows how to pick his sparring partners for his guys.
All
So
right.
I can see Cepeda pulling it off. But
Mm.
like I said, if we get 100% Shakur, I don't think I don't think Cepeda's going to be able to get to him.
I
Regard.
If boxing was like a video game, And just because you knew things, you can get the guy to go out there and do exactly that, then okay, I can see your point. The problem is that when Panda trains Shakur Stevenson, he only trained them to beat people up. He didn't go up against them. There's a difference.
All right.
Now, if William Cepeda, I mean, Panda can know everything to try to catch up to him, but if William Cepeda doesn't have the athletic ability or the mindset of what he's thinking to pull this off or how he sees it, he might not pull it off right. In fact, he could either overextend or be too far and get caught with a big shot. I just say train Cepeda to be Cepeda, the volume puncher that he is. Send him out there, head down, bobbing and weaving, trying to attack Shakur's body early. You need to take away Shakur's legs. Get him to stand in front of you. That's the best shot you got. Statistically, nobody punches Shakur Stevenson in the face. And I mean nobody. The amount of punches he's received throughout his entire career, it's fucking small. And he slips and moves punches. Now remember, the beginning of the Tevin Farmer fight with Cepeda, what was happening? Tevin Farmer was having a lot of success because Cepeda couldn't catch up to him. When was Cepeda more effective in the fight? When Tevin Farmer slowed down. And he was able to stand in front and then get his shit off. If Shakur can just evade and circle William Cepeda and circle, brace, frame off, put him back in front of him, you saw that William Cepeda's boxing speed wasn't enough to catch up to Tevin Farmer. What beat Tevin Farmer was the fact that he ran out of gas. And he capitalized on that. Cepeda. You know, but until Tevin Farmer dropped him in the fight, was fucking piecing him up. Cepeda was like that. That's what I mean about Shakur. If he can keep that up, and Cepeda would have to take away Shakur's legs in order to get Shakur to stand in front of him. If he can do that, you know, I still would have to see it. That doesn't spell winner in my head. I still have to see what he can do with it. What he can do with it. Because you still got a skilled boxer in front of you in Shakur Stevenson. Even if you take away his legs, he's still a skilled boxer. So,
and he's one of the boxers that gets hit the fewest.
The fewest. So catching up, listen, I don't see Cepeda just catching up to him like that in the first. I think Shakur's going to have a lot of success. If Shakur starts to fall asleep behind the fucking wheel, bro, or allow Cepeda to come in. Then
one interesting factor is Farmer was able to drop Cepeda.
Yeah, no doubt.
Farmer,
I said that.
I don't think Farmer has the pop that Shakur has. And that's why I said if Shakur comes in at 100%, I can see him beating and possibly stopping Cepeda. Now, hold on. We got to address the elephant in the room here.
Go ahead.
Lowe doesn't know shit about boxing, wants to know if Inoue was at 140, he would get whitewashed by Tio.
Okay, hold on. First of all, right? Lowe knows boxing. Okay, check this out, right? If you're making a hypothetical weight in a hypothetical situation, well, then at least make it even. You mean to tell me you're going to get a Naoya Inoue that the exact same height as Tio, same weight as Tio, as 140, and you put them in the ring together. The only thing that's going to happen is going to be 3 hits in the fight. Naoya Inoue hitting Tio hitting the canvas, and the ambulance hitting 90. That's all that's going to happen there. Okay, because
and the fat lady's going to sing.
That's it. Because
No, honestly, that's true though. I see Inoue is a bigger killer. Tiafimo likes to
Yeah.
showboat and move around and stuff. I that no.
Yo, and not to mention Sandor Martin arguably won that fight against Tio.
Oh,
Arguably.
and not to mention, since Teal moved up from 135 to 140, he ain't knocked out nobody. His
Yeah, he
power
did.
don't.
Hold on. I gotta correct you. Campas. He did knock out
Oh,
Campas in the
oh,
eighth
okay,
round.
okay, yeah.
Exactly.
Since
And Ojo
Campas,
Santiago knocked him out in the fourth. First or second round?
yeah,
When it was
okay,
Azteca versus Taínos?
that's right. He knocked out. But check this out. Since Campas, he ain't knocked out nobody. But check
No.
this out. Since Naoya Inoue moved up into 4 weight divisions, his power still travels. So he would be a bigger puncher than Steele then. Oh shit, Koki in the building.
Bang bang in the building. Puerto Rican rum. What's up, Bobby?
What's up?
Yo, saludos. Y'all hear me?
Yeah, I hear you, Koki. How
Yeah,
you
I don't know
doing?
why I don't hear y'all though, but yo, shout out to Edwin, shout out to Frontline, shout out to everybody in the chat. Just
Yo,
giving my,
Koki, what
shout
the
out, hit the
fuck
like,
is up, my boy?
get into it. Yo, I just want to break it down real quick because I understand y'all get the Shakur, y'all giving it to Shakur. I respect that. I like Shakur. He got a lot of skills as a fighter. We seen him in the amateurs. We seen him in 135, 130. But I think Cepeda has a perfect style. And I think you guys missed out one thing about Cepeda that you guys did not mention about Cepeda. Cepeda has a jab. He's a pressure fighter, right? He got knockouts, but he got a jab. He uses the jab in his pressure. And I want to say something. Here's another thing. He knows how to negate the jab too. I know Shakur got a great jab too, right? But guys like Beterbiev and Benavidez, they know how to negate the jab. That's why, like, when they face boxers, like real slick boxers, they make it hard for them because these guys, they don't get to use the jab freely like they do against other fighters. And I think Tevin Farmer has a different style than Shakur too. So I think whatever happened in the Farmer fight, even though he got hit, you guys know he got hit a lot too. Like he drops the payday, but he got hit like 900 times also. So I think y'all gotta tune in and see what I'm talking about. July 12th, Cepeda is gonna negate Shakur's jab, and you guys are gonna be like, "Yo, what the fuck? What was Gogi talking about? What was he talking about?" I'm telling you, put money on it. Put big money on it. I'll be back, guys. I'm gonna come back here. I can't hear you. I'm gonna come back. I'm sorry, my bad. I'm gonna come right back to y'all.
All right. See if you can tune in and hear us. Yeah, because he told me that he couldn't hear you guys. So in Frontline, you said something to him, he couldn't hear you. But another thing is that he failed to mention, Koki, right? Is that when Cepeda got these guys going backwards, let me tell you something. As a former boxer, it's tiring going backwards. Okay, it's hard as fuck fighting backwards. Not only are you fighting backwards, but it drains you. It drains you. And that's how I think Tevin Farmer got tired in the William Cepeda fight. He was doing the pressure. Tevin Farmer was having success in the early rounds, but Cepeda had him going backwards. He was fighting going off the back foot and trying to fight while he was moving a lot.
Yeah, but we both, well, not both, but we all know that Shakur could fight either coming forward or on his back foot.
Yeah, but for how long? You see, even in Shakur fights, right? Let's say in Shakur fights, if any fighters you ever notice in Shakur fights got him going backwards, his grandfather tells him to knock that shit off. That's when he stands in front of you, pushes you, and starts snapping. And he stops going back.
Who applies more pressure, Oscar Valdez or William Cepeda?
William Cepeda.
Okay. So, because in that fight with Oscar Valdez had Shakur on his back foot the whole time.
Yeah.
And what ended up happening was Shakur caught him coming in and dropped him.
Right.
So that I mean, one thing about Koki, he knows his stats and he knows how to analyze and shit like that. But on this one, I would have to disagree with him. I think, and like I said, if we get 100% Shakur's going to be difficult to beat.
For sure. I think it's going to play out just like the Valdez fight, for sure. And I was just looking up the unanimous decision, and he barely won a round, or only one judge gave him a 110 to 117. The rest was 118 to 109 against Valdez. I think
Yeah.
it's gonna play out the same way actually with the
Well,
Cepeda fight.
well, in Valdez's case, he was small for Shakur. He was small, right? And Shakur was a lot bigger, rangier. Plus, he's fucking good as shit. You know what I mean? Uh, that's what I love about boxing. You see, Koki comes in, shares his opinion. I gotta honor that. I gotta value what he thinks and what he sees in the fight because that's why I have this boxing program, this boxing show, so that we could all talk boxing, right? Okay. So my thing is this, you know, um, that's the great thing about boxing. We all see these fights different ways. But I, the Oracle, I've already given you the answer. And if you were smart, you took that down, wrote it down because you're about to cash in. Because I'm telling you right now, that's what's gonna happen. Right? Look, but no, seriously, all jokes aside, great fight, great fight. This is an amazing card. Then we got Edgar Berlanga, Hamza Shari, guys. Tell me, it's front line. Who do you got in the fight? I'm gonna take a quick stab at it. You got Hamza Shari.
Yo, you trying to get me killed right now?
Yeah.
You know I got that. You know I got the burner to my head right
To
now.
your
Like,
head right now, like that.
yo,
Yeah.
you better answer this correctly.
Correctly.
Nah, but
So,
nah, I got Belanga by I would say no later than the fourth round. It's gonna be an early night for him. Early night.
mm, Ed Hearn, I don't mean to cut you off just before I want to see what boxing outcome has to say about this too as well. But I was just reading an article that Ed Hearn's um he answered a couple questions. They asked him about the Hamza Sharif fight, and they asked him, where does Hamza Sharif go from here if he's to get knocked out by Edgar Berlanga? And he says he goes back down to the fucking minor leagues at Hearn. He'll go back to the scenic level there, and he'll have to work his way back up. Because technically this would only be his first loss, but coming off two bad performance. Of course, the world saw the Carlos Adames fight, so you know. Is this Matt Ed Hearn giving up on his fighters after one loss? Is this fucked up that if you lose one time, your promotional company kicks you to the curve? You know. So boxing outcome. Who do you got in this fight, Hamza or Edgar Berlanga?
I got Berlanga 5th round knockout. The fact that it's an 18-by-18 is only gonna help Edgar, man.
Fifth round
So
knockout.
so people are talking in the chat about that Shiraz and Puello don't want the smaller ring. Here's the question. What can they possibly do to avoid the quote unquote the fight? The only thing that they could do is pull out of the fight, fake an injury or something to get out of the
Overweight.
fight.
Puello has to come in overweight, vacate the belt, and then fight for the belt again after.
That'd be
But
stupid.
that exactly. So I don't know.
Hell
I
no.
I think I think I
Listen,
think
take
stay
my
wavy. What's
word
up,
for
huh?
it. Take my word for it, guys. For real, for real. There is nothing they can do. They can piss, moan, whatever you want, but I guarantee you, these guys didn't train this long, this hard, right, to get here and to just walk out on a fight. There's been moments when people have pulled out on fights, but Turkey's confidence in his money. And he said, okay, if you don't want this ring, I'm not supporting fighters that run. So if you're going to fight for me, you're going to fight in this ring. You know what I'm saying? If you have any fucking um um doubts that you're going to make this fight, let me know now so I can replace your ass. That's about all that's going to happen.
Well, Shiraz, I can't speak for because I haven't seen too many of his fights. But the way he looked against Adames, Belanga will wash him. But as far as Puello, that goes back to the question that I asked you: what's the difference between a mover and a runner? in my opinion, Puello is a mover. He knows how to stay in the pocket, exchange, and get out. It's going to be up to Suriel to cut that shit out and keep him still. You know what I'm saying?
Well, what Brielle has to do is he has to nullify Puello's jab, first of all. That jab that Puello has is going to be a key weapon of keeping Subriel back.
Yeah,
Subriel's
but how
got,
many jabs is he's going to have to throw to keep Suriel off?
well, that's going to be up to him in his training now, isn't it? You should have thought of that. You go work out and throw 10,000 jabs. So in the fight, you only got to throw 900. So it's easy. That's your problem.
Right,
You know,
but with Puello throwing that jab out, it could be as sharp as it can as it's gonna be. Is
yeah,
Matias gonna stop coming forward? No, he's not.
never.
He's gonna
Well,
be there. So by the time he throws that second jab, Subiel is gonna be close enough to where he can't throw a jab. He's gonna have no choice but to fight
no,
and get out the way.
no. So Bria's had problems against a jabber before in the past. It was just that they fell apart later in the round. You know what I'm saying? His opponents fell apart. At this point, you're fighting a world champion, and I'm gonna give her Alberto Puello world champion respect. He should be, you know, in the greatest of boxing shapes if you're a world champion. I don't really I would hope you didn't fade, you know. But that jab that he's got is nasty, and I'm not saying that Subriel Matias hasn't worked his way around jabs. You know, he made a career doing exactly that, getting around the other guy's jab, getting in on the inside and bludgeoning these guys. You know, he's good. But you know, Alberto Puello is much more than a jab. You know, he can put his punches together pretty good. Whether or not how how hard his punches are. Like if, for instance, Subriel sometimes tells you what's going on in the fight if you just pay attention to him, right? Whenever you see Subriel walk back to his corner and do one of these, Jad the guide has no power for him. He's gonna walk
So
through him.
Carlos makes a good point, but he says Subriel starts cooking. Where's it at? The chest going crazy. Subriel starts cooking with butter after the sixth round. Now, that being said, that's where I hope that Subriel's team has him start early.
Yeah,
Because if it
but
goes to the card,
yep.
if it goes to the cards, you already know what's gonna happen.
Nothing. I don't believe he's gonna get robbed. But not to a Dominican fighter, but it could be Alberto Puello. Anyway, listen. Here's the problem with your little theory here about Sabir really starts cooking at the sixth round. If you haven't paid attention to his last two fights, by the third round, the announcer was saying, "This guy looks like he's been in a 10-round fight." Didn't he say that in the third round? He's starting fast. He had the other dude in all kinds of trouble early in the fight. Real early. After the second round, he was already bludgeoning. I think old boy already had a cut on his head.
Yo,
On
so
his face.
Bang says his only concern is if Puello can do what no one else has done, which is walk through Matias' power. What if Matias can't hurt Puello?
Now that I have to see, because every 140 pounder that Matias has ever been in the ring with, like fucking tough fighters, strong guys. Subria's hurt them all. If I see that, I'm gonna be like, what the fuck is like, huh? Then he should have like just ran over Gary Antoine Russell, but Puello caught Gary Antoine Russell with big shots, solid shots, and he didn't. And I'm on the other line that if you were to take the amount of punches Alberto Puello hit Gary Antoine Russell and make those Subriel Matias punches, does he survive? I'm not too sure about that. I'm telling you right now, in my hearts of hearts, I really don't know when it's gonna happen. Subriel Matias is gonna stop Alberto Puello, bro. He's gonna stop him, man. He's
He,
gonna stop him.
he does have the advantage now that the ring is 18 by 18. I honestly I feel like this is the closest fight of the entire event. Um and I thought to myself, if Matias, I feel like Matias only loses to himself. If he's not focused, like you
Right,
say, it goes to decision and he ends up losing. It's not like he gets knocked out, right?
right.
So in Puerto Rico, when he lost to Paro, I feel like it was too many distractions, the music and everything, and coming out. I understand it was the hometown and everything, but I felt like he wasn't focused. And to Frontline's point, his team need to have him start early from the first round.
Right.
You cannot let off the gas, man, because
Hold on, boxing outcome. Hold on, I gotta address this. Team Sly, go back to that Pyro fight and watch the fight in its entirety. In between the end of round 6 and the beginning of round 7, Pyro was ready to quit on the stool, and his team had to encourage Pyro to
Oh
go
yeah.
out and stick to the plan.
Yep. He was about to quit in round 7. I don't know what this guy's talking about.
Pyro,
Barrow was
he said you capping.
Barrow was fucked up at coming out round 7. Go watch
Yeah,
that fight when
and
his
and then
coach is telling him. His coach is telling him, "Yo, don't quit. Hold on."
exactly.
They
but
was
he didn't quit.
panicking in that corner. What this
But he
guy
didn't
talking
quit,
about?
and Matias started slow, man.
No. Barrow clinched excessively in that fight. So much, in fact, that I couldn't believe that the referee in Puerto Rico didn't deduct the point. He gave him like one warning. That was excessive clinching.
And not to mention, he was leading with his head. He was
Yeah,
clinching.
yeah. And
It,
and 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 let's tell it like it is, bro. So Bel Matias went out to Puerto Rico and stood in the party too long. He stood in the party too long, bro. It got
and
to him.
then, since Matias doesn't hurt his opponent, or you don't have faith in his power, why is it that every opponent that faces Matias after Matias, they're not the same? Prime example: name one boxer that fought Matias and has made a comeback. Not
Zero,
one.
zero.
Not
Nobody's ever
one.
made.
Look at Pato. Pato defended his belt. He lost it to Hitchens.
He was broken up by time he was damaged goods when he fought Richard Hitchison. He didn't want to get punched anymore because he reminds him of that night he was in the ring with Subriel. Subriel has retired more fighters in his career than plus we also know he doesn't hit hard. What about the gentleman that lost his life in the ring against Subriel Matias? He lost his life by his
Ma-
punches.
Matias punches makes your brain rattle in your skull.
Yeah, it doesn't knock you out. It does something different to you. He must punch so hard that it doesn't allow you to go get knocked out. He punches you a little too
Oh,
hard.
Team Slide, you're wrong again. Matias gassing out, you're crazy.
He gets
One thing about
out.
Matias gas tank, that should stay full.
Nah, he's a fucking Terminator. 12 rounds, he's coming forward. I'm trying to tell you, right? I was in Puerto Rico at that fight. I heard the rumors from the hotel the night before. Those artists he walked out with, the rappers in Puerto Rico, they was in his hotel room all night. They was chilling. This can happen and derail a career when a fighter doesn't stay disciplined. And I think it gave him that tate quieto. That Subriel realized, wait a minute, bro, sometimes you gotta revisit these past experiences. His first loss that he suffered, the reason why he suffered that loss is because he was in depression from the gentleman that he shared the ring that lost his life. So Brielle was like, that shit was weighing on him. You know, that man has a family, Matt Juracek. So when Subriel was coming back rightly, he really felt that. Like, shit, bro. I took
So
someone's
so
husband away, somebody's dad. Like,
so
that felt
Sly,
with
yeah,
him.
I get it. There's a lot of misconceptions about Matias. So Matias is a type of dude that you can go back to all his interviews. Not once did he ever put an excuse about his losses. He takes his excuses, I mean his losses, like a champ.
Like
He
a
doesn't point
champion.
fingers at it. He doesn't point fingers at his team. He doesn't point fingers at nobody but himself. That being
Correct.
said, the reason why he lost that bottle fight is because number one, if you look at the punch out the punch thrown versus what he's thrown in other fights, didn't add up. That's number one. Number two, he didn't make adjustments when Paro started fighting dirty. And what I mean by dirty is all the clinching, leading with his head, and so on and so forth. So
What you mean
had he,
about that? Hold on.
yeah,
Why didn't he stop? Why did he stop punching a man that was about to quit? Okay, the thing is, first of all, he was saved by the bell. When he was about to quit, it was when he was in his corner on his stool, not being punched. In that fight, I was getting frustrated with Subriel Matias because I was saying the same fucking thing. Subriel's success in that fight came at the closing seconds of every fucking round, bro. At the end of every round, the last 20 seconds, that's when he had his most success against Liam Paro. He didn't look the same. He didn't look like Subriel Matias in the fight. And with the excessive clinching, and I think his undiscipline for that fight, I think it all caught up to him. I think it
yep.
really did. It all caught up to him on one night. I think he's hungrier than ever right now. I think Alberto Puello is hungry. I think Santo Domingo right now got a real one in Alberto Puello. And I think Santo Domingo got a lot to be proud of. A lot. Santo Domingo fighters right now are really showing up and representing. Could this be the start of a Dominican, Puerto Rican, beautiful boxing rivalry? And remember, people, don't let your rivalries take you to a place of violence. Because at the end of the day, you need your rival. What would baseball be without the Yankees if the Red Sox didn't have them? You think
Yeah,
Boston
but
fans would want to watch baseball without the Yankees? You need to respect your rivals. You need to value them for what they are and the excitement they bring to the sport. It's okay to support your favorite fighter. It's okay to talk shit. But remember, we're talking about a boxing match. Don't let it go any further. That's what I have to say about rivalries. What were you saying?
yeah, I just wanna clarify that too, because like I never see, like, when people try to say, oh, it's gonna be a rivalry, República Dominicana, Puerto Rico. I feel like that's mainly in baseball. I can't think of a match right now in my head that everybody talks about Puerto Rico versus Dominican Republic in a boxing match. Like, I just can't think of a fight right now.
This is it.
Exactly. This is where the rivalry would start.
Well, that's what I was saying. I'm saying, could this be the beginning of a Dominican and Puerto Rican healthy rivalry? Could this be the Dominican? Because it's been a one-sided street. But the Dominicans are here, bro. They got some good champions right now. They got some up and coming prospects, and so don't Puerto Rico.
They do. They
So
have a lot of. They got a few upcomers. You got
I,
John Santana, who's
yep.
fighting on the Zayas card.
Mm-hmm.
Although he trains in Puerto Rico, but he's Dominican accent.
Juan Ma,
Descent. Puerto
what?
Rican Rum made a good point.
What?
He said Chavez and Matias have that life draining power where by the middle rounds your body just gives out.
Mm, mm.
Um, but yeah, Puerto Rico and Mexico in boxing has always been a rivalry. But as far as DR, it's always been in baseball.
Of course,
Um,
and basketball too now. So
Yeah.
right. So I mean, you got to give it to DR for you got Rohan Polanco who's at 47. He's a fucking monster.
hmm
I like
You got
Carlos Adames. He's
well Carlos
fine.
El Broncos at 60. He's good. He was a champion at one point.
Imagine him moving up to 168 to fight Berlanga just to make the DR versus PR.
That'll be interesting.
that'll be interesting.
Then you got the Cedeno brothers, Yuri and Henry.
Yep.
Those two are coming up. Um,
Yep.
you got I forgot if it's flyweight or bantamweight. You got Mini Bachman up and coming. He's a little monster there. Which I think Oscar Collazo beats him, but you got a couple.
Manita Lopez.
Juanita Lopez is
He's
what
coming
is
up.
he? Yeah, he's
Puerto
but
Rican.
what? Yeah, but what is he? 18, 118 or 22?
I think he's 118. And also that young kid Keith Cologne, he's also coming up. He's 6-0 with 6 knockouts.
Yep,
Looking very
he's at
promising right now. Looking very
126.
promising. You know what I mean? So we got some good fighters, and
Hey,
as far as Santo Domingo, man, we all know the rivalry that Puerto Rico and them and have in baseball. And I can be honest, bro. Dominicans are motherfucking hell to fucking play against when it comes to them. Whenever they come out, I'm like, man, here comes these fucking monsters, right? And we compete well, but like my man said, the Puerto Rican Mexico rivalry has been going around for so long, but there's also room for other countries because just like Japan and the Philippines, that's a fucking monster rivalry right there. They're always fighting against each other. And Japan and Mexico, believe it or not, has a big rivalry, but Japan's been kicking their ass lately. So
Yeah.
Mexico just pulled off a victory on them. So that was good. That was good. Mexico just got one up on them
Angelo
right now.
Lee, right?
Huh?
The Angelo guy.
Yeah. Angelo went out there. That's the first Mexican that went out there, I think, in 6 years and won a fight against a Japanese fighter.
Well, the lower weights usually go to the Asian countries like the Philippines.
Not always. Mexico used
Well,
to dominate that shit.
the
Mexico
lower
used
weight
to,
classes?
yeah.
No, I'm not
Mexico
talking
got
about
a.
26. I'm talking about like 105, 108.
That's where the Mexicans dominated, bro. You might not know about a lot of these things because back then we didn't focus on it. But Mexico dudes are small by nature, bro.
No, I
They
know that.
dominated. Listen, they were 115, 118. Listen, look at, for instance, Bam Bam Rodriguez.
No,
I
he said,
get that. But what I'm
no me
saying,
tome y dame. Eso siempre tome y dame, tome y dame.
Yeah, bro. They're always in there, bro. Mexicans, they live everywhere, every fucking weight division. The only thing Puerto Rico needs, what we lack, we had a champion in every weight division. We're one of the fewest countries, I think we're like the 8th or 6th or some shit like that we legitimately got a championship in every weight division. The only thing we do not have,
heavyweight.
no, we had a heavyweight Puerto Rican champion.
John Ruiz,
John Ruiz, bro.
Oh yeah, John Ruiz. Yeah.
We already had that. But what we haven't had is an undisputed Puerto Rican champion.
Well, I think the first one that's gonna make it there, in my opinion, is gonna be Oscar Collazo.
Man, que Dios te escuche. You know what
Because
I'm saying?
he's halfway there.
Listen, before I die, I want to see that. Somebody Puerto Rican descent become undisputed. That's something I want to see. I think there's a lot of young men that can really go for it. You know, Xander, because of his age, he's only 22. He has a long boxing career ahead of him. You never
He's
know.
big. He's fucking
Yeah, yeah,
big.
yeah. You never know when he gets into his adult, man strength and his experience because he's growing up in boxing, in professional boxing at the age of 22. He's already going to be competing for a world title. He has that much experience. Where could he go?
Puerto Rican rum. I think he's talking about the men. He said Amanda Serrano was undisputed.
Yeah. But that's I'm keeping it just in the men right now, and I love Amanda Serrano, what she did for us. We can't ignore that. Okay, great, great. But Amanda Serrano doesn't compete in the men's division. You understand? So there are plenty of people that will give women their credit. Yes, and I will always give Amanda Serrano her credit.
I'm gonna
But
say
as
right now, Amanda Serrano beats Tio Pivo Lopez.
who?
Amanda Serrano will beat Tio Fimo Lopez. I, I'm telling you, Amanda Serrano will put fucking
Hey
Tio on
yo,
his ass.
listen, your box circles around them. Yo, listen. Uh but yeah, for the men's guys, we'll keep it there. That's something I want to see. I have not seen that yet for all the great Puerto Rican fighters that have come and you know, it's just something I would like to witness. We've accomplished a lot for a small island. Due to our population, the amount of champions we produce, we're number one. When it comes to the size of the country, we definitely hold our own. Okay, so there's another great fight on that card. David Morale is going to be there. That's another good fight that I want to see too. It's a very interesting fight on that card. But that New York card is a pretty decent card. The as far as Brian Norman Jr., unfortunately, um, I don't know too many of the guys on that fight card. A lot of them are Japanese. I know a few of them. I've watched a couple of them, but nothing I'm getting excited over. Nothing that I'm really. So basically, I'm really tuning in for the Brian Norman Jr. and Jin Sasaki fight because that fight is important on so many levels. Just like the Subriel Matias fight is actually of importance. I don't think the Shakur Stevenson fight is not of importance in the way that I'm about to say it. Meaning, whoever wins in the Subriel Matias and Alberto Puello pretty much are the people that might be competing or fighting against Gary Antoine Russell and the rest of the champions, Richard Hitchison and the rest of the champions, to see if we can get unifications. If Shakur Stevenson does this, I don't think that gets him any closer to a Tank Davis fight. I don't think Tank Davis wants to fight him. So I think this situation kind of stays the same. But a fight versus Fima Lopez and the winner out of Subriel Matias and Alberto Puello, that's an interesting fight. The fight could be against Teofimo Lopez and Gary Antoine Russell. That would be a good fight. The fight can be Gary Antoine Russell and Richard Hitchens. That would be a great fight. You see, so all those fighters at 140, once this Subriel fight is over with, now we're going to see who really wants to smoke and what you guys really want to do. Because remember, Richard Hitchison has been avoiding Subriel, the real boogeyman. Okay? And if Subriel gets his hands on that fucking WBC world title, that's big. How many Puerto Rican champions have ever had a WBC world title? Have I ever seen a Puerto Rican fighter with a WBC world title?
Didn't Ivan Calderon have a WBC?
Oh, wait a
I had
minute.
to Google it.
Hector Camacho ever have a WBC? I don't think so.
No, I think Camacho did. I think he
Google
had the
Google's telling me
WBC.
Google's telling me Sisto Escobar, Carlos Ortiz, Jose Torre, Ángel Espada.
All right. Good. Okay, so we've had WBC sports title. All right. Good.
So,
Good.
talking about Richardson Hitchens, I saw or heard something, but I didn't really catch it. Maybe you could either explain it to me. What's going on between him and Eddie Hearn?
Okay. Richard Hitchison snaked them, backdoored Eddie Hearn.
Or did Eddie Hearn backdoor Hitchens?
Nope. Richard Hitchison backdoored Eddie Hearn, just like Edgar Berlanga could have. The difference between Edgar Berlanga and Richard Hitchens is that Berlanga notified Ed Hearn that he will no longer be extending his fight with him. So Ed Hearn gave him a fucking cab driver and didn't invest no money into him. Richard Hitchison got the fight George Camboza in a title defense that Ed Hearn set up for him to win against a okay fighter. And
Okay, fighter.
right, because George Camboza is a unified world champion. He had 3 belts. That's a good scalp.
And he beat the lineal champion too.
Yeah, that's a good scalp. So I would say okay in that sense, but coming off his last 6 fights, he was 4-2. So he was on the losing end of his last 6 fights. So that's why I say okay. Because coming into the fight, you weren't winning. You know, you came off your last win, but you just didn't have a winning record in your last 6 fights. You see? So when Ed Hearn set him up with that fight, it was under the impression that he would re-sign with Ed Hearn. Instead, Richard Hitchison made it look like, yo, Ed Hearn, you're my man, you're my boy. After this fight, we'll talk about negotiation. Let me get past this one. And then me and you, we're going to relive our contract. And of course, I'm fighting with you. You got me a title fight. And then he turned around and backdoored him and went with Turki Al-Sheikh.
I think all these fighters are doing anything in their powers to avoid certain fighters. And what they're doing is they're throwing themselves into the fire because Turkey wants to give he wants the best to fight the best. So by him backdooring Eddie like that, I could see it backfiring because at the end of the day, Turkey would take advice from Eddie Hearn versus taking advice from Hitchens. So if Eddie Hearn's like, yo, he fucked me, yo, put him in with Matias or put him in with, with Gary Antoine Russell or put him in with, one of the big dogs.
Yeah.
So he can learn his lesson. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. Fuck, I think I forgot what I was going to say.
Can I go real quick?
Yeah, go ahead.
So I would like Gary Antoine Russell to fight the winner out of Puello and Matias, and the Tiafimo and Richardson Hitchens fight. I think that should go down because they're both from Brooklyn. I feel like as far as business goes, that benefits both of them. You know what I'm saying? As far as ticket sales and things like that. I also wanted to touch up on you were right. It says here also Hector Camacho, Wilfredo Gomez, WBC, Miguel Cotto, Wilfred Benitez. We can't forget about him.
Yeah.
And Puerto Rican Rum said Trinidad had the WBC at 47 too.
Damn, why they don't put him on here? He's popular. I don't know why Google didn't put him there. Oh yeah, Trinidad. I see Trinidad thing right here. Let me go check that out.
Yo, and another thing is, right? The reason why I said Richard Hitchison backdoored this dude and shit, right? There's an interview floating around. I think Fight Hub or Fight Hype, one of them did it with Tiger Johnson. They were interviewing Tiger Johnson, right? And they were like, yo, Tiger Johnson, what do you feel about Richard Hitchens, right? And he said to him, Yo, that dude's a snake. He said, why you think none of his friends that he grew up with in boxing fuck with him anymore? Why you think nobody in the business fucks with him? Because he's a cornball. He said Richard Hitchison, like he's got a bad name and a bad thing for business. He's been known for pulling stunts like this. And just before he said all this, see, I don't really know the date of the interview that he had, but I watched it. So I know Tiger Johnson said this out of his mouth because I watched it. So that's kind of like the perception that a lot of these, and he's not the first boxer to say that about Richard Hitchison. He's not the first boxer. So I'm starting to think, yeah, he probably did backdoor fucking Ed Hearn and made it seem like, yeah, Ed Hearn, I'm going to sign with you. It's me and you. You got me my world title fight. You brought me to the promised land type shit. And went and did something else. At least Edgar Berlanga, you know, right as soon as his fight like had concluded with him and shit, he's like, yo, fuck you, Ed Hearn. like, you know what I'm saying? Ed Hearn already picked up on it. He knew that Edgar was gonna leave him, and that's why he set him up with that dude that got out of jail after 10 years. Ed Hearn didn't put no money into him because Edgar Berlanga told him straight up, nah, I ain't signing with you. You know, he played it cold Joe for the cameras, but they already knew it. That's why he got that type of fight. You know.
Yeah, so Tito Trinidad, he beat Oscar De La Hoya for the WBC.
Did he?
Yeah, that's what it says on Wikipedia. That was the fight.
Nice. You know how Oscar De La Hoya used to always play around with that WBO. I thought he was fighting for the WBO that night. But yeah, Tiger Johnson didn't look too good against that Puerto Rican dude last Saturday neither. But you know, Tiger Johnson, he's adjusting to the new weight division, 147. I believe this is his second fight at 147. Tiger Johnson's.
Yep.
So you know, it's moving up to another weight division. You know, and I'm glad that that Puerto Rican dude did that. Gave him a tough fight. You know, because I'm tired of these fucking guys being dressed up and be putting against these cab drivers and you know, not no good fights and shit. You know,
Well, that's what happened with Jahai Tucker. Jahai Tucker was introduced to the 147, and they put him against Nicholas Flaz, and Nicholas Flaz ended up taking that fight that night. And ever since then, he hasn't looked. Jahai Tucker hasn't looked the same.
Edwin Rosario too. Yeah, Richard. I remember Edwin Rosario. I remember the night that Edwin Rosario fought Hector Camacho, bro. In my living room, my dad, my uncles were all around, and I was behind the couch, peeking around the corner like this, watching the fight. Yeah, and I thought Hector Camacho lost that fight against Edwin Rosario, to tell you the truth. I thought he lost. They gave it to him, but I thought he lost. Didn't he lose that fight? I'm a little confused on how long ago that was and what the outcome was it. So many fights inside of my head, bro, just going back and forth. But I remember watching it and thinking to myself, why are they fighting each other? Ain't they both our guys? I was a little kid. I remember, man. Yeah.
Yo, so speaking about that card, that Edgar Berlanga and Shiraz card, how do you see that David Morrell against that Imam Khatev or whatever his name is, Russian dude? Or
Well, you know, a lot of guys are talking this Russian dude up like he's fucking somebody.
well, he's 10-0 with 10-0 with 9 knockouts.
Yeah, they talking him up, but I haven't seen many of his fights. I got to see like 2 or 3 highlights. I saw a video of them putting like one or two of his fights, then one or two of Morales fights. Then the guy started talking about both of them. That's about as much as I've seen about him. I haven't really had the opportunity to really look him up in depth like that. I can't judge a fighter off one fight. But David Morale, he's gonna have to prove that he wants a shot at these world titles. So he's gonna have to win this fight. He fucks around and loses this fight. He's in trouble. He's in a lot of trouble because you're gonna be coming off 2 back-to-back losses. You're in a lot of trouble right there with your career right there. You're gonna have to work your way back
Morale
up.
will pull this fight off.
I think so. I think it's fucked up because I'm saying I think Morale's pulling off because of what I know of him. This fucking Russian dude can come out of nowhere and knock his fucking head off, bro. If for me, unless you know something about the Russian, you've been following him, you've been watching how he fights, I wouldn't put no money on it until I got a little bit more. We got a little bit more time from the fight out here, so I'm gonna check him out as we get closer.
Well, Ring Magazine just dropped a video on his training workout for getting ready for the Morale fight.
Did he?
So,
Did he? I'm
yeah.
gonna check that out. I gotta go check that out and shit. Yeah, because I want to look at him. Interesting fight right there. There's a lot of fights to be made. There's the rumor fights, of course. The young kid Abdullah Mason might be getting his opportunity at a world title against rumored opponent Sam Notes. They're saying that that's who should fight for the title. What happens in boxing sometimes is totally different. So yeah,
Politics.
a lot of politics, but it's amazing how Abdullah Mason capitalized on his opportunities, and when and where you gotta be ready for your moment. This kid went from being a co-main event to being told less than 24 hours, hey kid, you're the main event. You're carrying the night. Everything's on your shoulders. And if you win this for saving the night, you will be awarded. Because Keyshawn Davis just got stripped.
Who do you think is gonna welcome Keyshawn Davis to 140?
At
They should make
140,
him fight Andy Cruz.
they should
Well, Cruz is still at 35.
Oh,
actually, yeah, that then he would have to move up too. But actually, my hearts of heart welcome him to 140, Teofimo Lopez. You punched my father in the face. I want that back.
Tio not about that life.
Man, I don't give a fuck. You punched my, of course. Well, I wouldn't be in that situation for one, because we would address that shit right there.
Right then and there, exactly.
Right fucking then and there. We would address this shit. All right. But since we're here, the world knows about this, Tio. Your father admitted it to a certain extent, and Keyshawn said it. And motherfucker, you admitted it. So he put his hands on Papi. All right?
Mhm.
All right? That's what it is. You want somebody to welcome him into 140? If Tio was about it and he was really about that life, he would raise his hand and say, I want him first. There should be no reason why anyone else fights him. But if I see that Keyshawn Davis goes to 140 and he has fight after fight after fight in 140 and Tio's still there, you a bitch.
Yo, I heard you and Tio Senior are brothers, like hard homies. Like,
yeah, we're thinking about going to lunch tomorrow. You know what I'm saying? Shut up, bro. Listen, fucking
I
Tio.
didn't say it. If you read your chat, you would know who's talking. Like your own manager, your manager.
Oh, my manager? Oh my God, shots fired. Manager, you're fired. How about that? You know what I'm saying? You might get hired tomorrow.
You want to know what the other thing is? 19 people in the chat and only. Never mind. Let me shut up. It just updated. 22 likes. All right. That means Bang Bang just hit it.
Refresh.
He might have just hit it. If you're just tuning in and joining us, please do me a favor, smash that like button for me. It helps the channel. It costs you nothing, and it shows support. You know what I mean? And I can go in later and check to see if you hit that like button.
Yo, he's
And
cooking. You tell him to
you
hit the
know,
link. Tell him to
you
hit the
know,
link.
you know, bang bang. You know what I'm saying? He's the only one that doesn't come up.
He said that y'all look the same with the mustache. Yeah, y'all got the same
Yeah,
mustache.
hold
Hey,
on,
he
hold on,
cooking you right now. Drop
Hold
that
up.
link, Ed.
hold on, hold on, hold on, hold on, hold on, hold on,
I
hold on,
wanted to
hold on.
clear up the Hector Camacho versus Edwin Rosario. That was June 13, 1986. Hector Camacho got the split decision.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. I thought he lost. And it was June 13th. No wonder I remember that fight so much. The next day
That
was
was
my birthday.
right?
June 14th is my birthday. The next day.
Oh yeah, that's right. Yup. Happy belated birthday. I seen the
Yeah,
video.
yeah. Okay, you guys want me to turn into Tio Senior? Here you go, Tio Senior in the flesh. Bam! You know what I'm saying? yo. Every time I put on my stunners on, they say I turn into Tio Senior.
Bro, you could be signing autographs in Madison Square. Tyson.
Yo,
What is it?
listen,
Times Square.
I'm putting the Cardis on and I'm walking right through the press conference in New York City. Oh, my son's right there, bro. Move, get out of the way. Yeah,
That's
baby.
hilarious. No, but you're right, man. Back in the day, when boxers didn't like each other or out of respect or ego, whatever, it wasn't even about the money. They wanted to fight each other. And you're right. If Tio's still at 140, even if Top Rank is not gonna pay him top dollar, take that fight and beat him the fuck up.
Right. No, you
Excuse my
listen.
language. I'm sorry.
Yeah. No, puppy. Look. There's nothing to talk about. There is nothing to talk about. You move into 140 in my weight division. Now, there's, you're in my weight division.
I could put
So,
hands on you and make money at the same damn
and make
time.
money. There's no excuse. There's no excuse. He should want to fight that man.
But Tio keeps calling out these delusional fights that he knows he's never gonna get. Just like when he called out Matias. Matias gave proof of everything. And by the way, for those that don't know, when Tio called out Matias, Matias didn't negotiate money. He didn't negotiate location. What he negotiated was to change the date, let his hand get better. And Tio ran with Matias ducked.
Yeah, no, I didn't think Tio was gonna fight fucking Subriel Matias, bro. To fight Subriel Matias, I talked about this numerous times. Coaches gotta like take that into consideration. How the fuck am I gonna how am I gonna get my fighter back on that night? Is he gonna be the same? You can beat Subriel Matias. Anybody can be beat in boxing, but at what cost? At what cost? Will your fighter suffer so much damage that signing up to fight him wasn't worth it? You sometimes some of these guys, if you don't gotta fight these guys, you might want to avoid some of these guys. So that's why
You
it's
know who
not.
was smart at that? Mayweather. Mayweather. That's why he says he's the best to ever did it. Not the greatest of all. Remember the quote back then was the greatest of all time, right? The GOAT, right? Muhammad Ali. But Mayweather came with the TBE, the best to ever did it. And he knew when to pick opponents. He knew when
Well,
and who to pick.
Well, you're
well,
talking about Money Mayweather. You're not talking about Pretty Boy because Pretty
Yeah,
Boy
yeah,
got
yeah.
it dirty.
Yeah,
okay,
exactly.
okay. Hold on. You. I don't know how young you are, but you might be a little young. Remember Mayweather had 50 fights over a 20-year span in boxing, over 20 years, right? Okay. If you look at Mayweather's record, 50 fighters, you look at his record, the only time you could literally say or look at any of Floyd Mayweather's fights and say that maybe he ran or excessively moved around the ring. It's only about 5 fights. That's it.
No, but he's not talking about that, Edwin.
But look. Check it out. It's about 5 fights. When you're talking about him picking his opponents at the end, it's the same thing. You got the Conor McGregor, his last fight against Antonio. You got a couple fights, and then you got to admit that the fights at before that with fucking Madonna and fucking Castillo, and those were all tough fights, and Manny Pacquiao, and you know they those fights weren't easy fights.
A young Canelo.
Right. He picked a couple cherries at the end, yes. But if you really sit down and look at it, you're like, wait a minute.
Yeah, but what I'm saying is, so basically, he didn't pick Cotto when he was undefeated. He picked Cotto after he got, brutally damaged by Margarito cheating and, having other fights,
Right. That was Money Mayweather.
That's what I'm.
Okay, but wait a minute. Wait. Yeah. Wait. Let's think about what happened that night. Let's think about what it really happened. He didn't have to fight Cotto then, but he did. But he fought Cotto at a weight he didn't belong. Cotto had 20-something pounds on Mayweather that night. Mayweather was pretending to be 154 pounds with 2 bricks in his pocket. He didn't belong there against such a strong puncher. In order for him to do that against Miguel Cotto, which should technically have knocked that little dude out, the way that Mayweather nullified his power and dealt with Cotto with his speed, that was fucking incredible. There's no way on God's green earth any other man pulls that off.
For sure, but Cotto wasn't the same. It's not the same type. It's not the same kind of fighter, man.
Yeah,
back then he wanted to take you out the ring. It seemed that later down his career, he was pretty much just trying to win the fight.
Okay, check this out, right? Mayweather was never a 147 pounder. Never. Let alone 154. Mayweather started his career at 130 pounds. He's a little dude, bro.
I like that point of view though. 154. I like that.
But Stay Wavy even said it because Cotto, Floyd said that out of all his fights, Cotto was the one that hit him the hardest.
He almost fucking put him down. Listen, let me tell you something. He was hurt against those ropes. The ropes was holding him up. Cotto's, after he made the weight and replenished, it was a true testament of skills beating the bigger guy. That's why I say, if Terrence Crawford pulls this off, that's Floyd Mayweather shit. Nobody really appreciate what Mayweather did because they wanted him to get his ass kicked so bad that they had to justify what they saw. Oh, nah, he's stuck and moved. He didn't stand there with Miguel Cotto. Shit, you're just not acknowledging what the fuck he's doing physically.
He outsmarted him that fight. That's what it was.
Bro, he should never, ever should have been in that ring with Miguel Cotto.
Right. The only time I've seen Floyd actually run, like when people say run, pretty much the Pacquiao fight. Every other time was just straight up boxing.
Yeah, he knew Pacquiao.
It wasn't through the whole fight. It was like sort of in the beginning, like he was just trying to feel him out.
Let me tell you something right now. If Pacquiao would have caught Mayweather on the jaw flush, he knocks him out. Mayweather knew that. You think Mayweather was going to stand there with Manny Pacquiao? Manny Pacquiao could crack. Did you see how he knocked out fucking the UK fighter there?
What about Juan Marquez? Bro, he laid him flat on his stomach. Not even on his back.
Manny Pacquiao can crack, bro. Floyd wasn't gonna play around with that guy. I bet you Manny Pacquiao, I can almost guarantee you, at some point in the beginning of that fight, Manny Pacquiao hit Floyd. And since Floyd has such a great poker face, You can't tell even if he got hurt. But one of those punches punched Floyd, and Floyd said, "Fuck that." Yo, he
Yo,
was
so
like,
you think
"Yo,
Pacquiao knocks out Barrios?
Oh, I wanted to explain that.
yeah,
If I can, real quick. So the reason I predict Pacquiao for the win,
ooh,
even though it could go the 12 rounds, is because last time we saw Pacquiao and he was really hurt, it was against Ugas, who had actually over 6 inches of arm length, advantage. In this fight, Mario Barrios only got 3, so Pacquiao should be able to reach him. And probably most likely, with his agility, the movement, he still has the movement. I still see the movement. I still see the speed. The power might not be there, but I think that it could like flash or take Barrios off his game.
all right, boxing. I gotta educate you on something here.
Yo, but
I
real
think,
quick before you
yep,
educate him,
yep.
Bang Bang said that Salas thinks he has the master plan to defeat Subriel.
Everybody thinks that, you know what I'm saying, till they're in trouble. But anyway, boxing, you have the right approach. You just got some things backwards. As an older fighter, the last thing to go on a man is his power. One of the first things to go is our speed and our twitch muscle, your instincts. So, and then the other thing to go is, I think that Manny Pacquiao is going to look good for 4 rounds. 4 rounds is what he's going to look. After that, his body's going to betray him. He's not going to be able to shift it into that second gear he wants to. At the ripe age of 42, it's kind of when that shit starts to happen to a man. You feel good. You think like a ninja. But when it's time to perform, and until you're in that situation, do you realize, fuck, I can't get my body to adjust. Just like what happened to him against that kickboxer in the exhibition. And that's why Manny Pacquiao looks so bad, because he learned a valuable lesson in that fight. And I could see it because I've experienced it. I've experienced that transition from you just 1 month ago being fast as fuck, boy. Then all of a sudden, the fuck is this? And you're like, and as a man that fucks with you, you go back home, you're like, nah, bro, I ain't lost a step, man. Fuck that shit, bro. You want to go outside and start fucking jogging and get into a fight. What's up, motherfucker? You know what I'm saying? Just to prove yourself. But you start to realize as the years start to go by, you're on the tailgate at the end of the game. So for Manny Pacquiao, I think he's going to look good for 4 rounds. Mario Barrio can get sat on his ass. We saw that he got dropped in his last fight. He won the fight though, but still, if anybody can do it, Manny Pacquiao can do it. But after 4 rounds, I think that if he doesn't put the young fighter away, I think the young fighter's gonna, I think he's gonna beat the brakes off of Manny Pacquiao for the rest of the fight, man. And
Yo, where's your pork chop throwing punches in the back? You don't have it on?
Nah, that shit broke.
Oh, that
Oh,
was my
shit.
favorite thing. It was like moving and shit.
Nah, that shit. Matter of fact, nobody puts it together. Nobody fucking puts it together. They all called it a pork chop. It wasn't a fucking pork chop. It was a steak. It was a steak. It represents beef. And he had boxing gloves on. Boxing and beef. He's got beef. You know what I'm saying? He's like, what's up? I got beef. You know?
That makes sense, yeah.
But everybody wanted to call him a fucking pork chop. Yeah. Right? When he was a steak.
Did he break?
The fan broke. It got overheated and it started to slow down. One day, every day was slowing down more and more until it just went.
So that was a pork chop. That wasn't no fucking beef.
You know what I'm saying? It might have been a pork chop. But
what if Pacquiao proved you wrong and the fight looked like Pacquiao versus Oscar De La Hoya to the point that Mario Barrios in the corner says no mas?
Yeah, right. Man, I got to see some shit like that. Okay, update. on the fighting pork chop, he is coming back. And he will be back tomorrow.
Stronger than ever.
Stronger than ever, because I already ordered another one. This one I ordered, the next one I ordered, this one, I should be able to download the boxing steak, the beef, right? But this time, the one I ordered, this one, it has a dust protector around it.
Dust cover.
A dust cover, a clear dust cover. It's just a circle that goes around it so that the dust doesn't go inside while it's spinning and short it all out. You know what I mean? So, and it's because of the fucking weed smoke that I got in my room that when it sticks to shit, it becomes like sticky, and it got all in the fan and it fucked it all up. So I saw it. I looked inside of it. I was like, damn, that shit got rocked. So, this time I got it with the dust protector. It won't go nothing in the fan. And the only thing I'm concerned about, because it's see-through plastic, the dust container, is the lights in my room gonna reflect off of it and fuck up the image. You see how the light is reflecting right now off my poster? See how that light
was a TV at one point.
Nah, those are two lights that in front of me. Now if I take this light and I turn it into my face, right? Let me turn it. Shit, I should put it like that. Oh, no, now the reflection's down here. See it? It's like right here now. See it? And
why are you pointing at that?
I got two studios. Shit, damn fucking Frontline. Wow. No Diddy here, Frontline. Where's your mind at? Wow. This is a non-Diddy program, okay? Anyway.
Well, until you get Haney on here.
Stop it. Devin Haney's a great fighter, an amazing fighter. And I wish his father would come up on the show so that we can talk.
And ask the real questions.
Yeah, ask some real questions. Nah, but if Bill Haney was to come on my show, my interview would be much different than anybody else's interviews. I don't want to bombard him by the same questions that everybody else does. I just want to have a conversation with the man. I want to have a conversation with him, how he got into boxing, what it feels like to have a son as a world champion. Like questions like that. I think that everybody else has asked him the same questions over and over and over and over.
You want to have a conversation, basically.
I just want to have a conversation.
Raise his blood pressure.
I just want to have a conversation with the man. You know what I'm saying? Talk to him about stuff that maybe people don't understand or know about him and his son. I'm gonna tell you right now, a lot of people criticize Devin Haney for fighting those Tijuana bars. But at 17 years old and 16 years old, if you could fight your way out of Tijuana, shit. You know how many times they had to play grab and bag? I can imagine. Go in a Tijuana bar as a Black American and beat up on a Mexican fighter in their hometown and think you're going to walk out that bar. Go ahead. Let's see how that works out for you. You know how many times he had to fucking say, yo, Devin, I'm going to turn on the car. Get in the car. We got to go. You know what I'm saying? They mad as hell. So doing that with your son, coming through that, it builds you. It may give you thick skin and shit. The fear of losing it all is what you're seeing now. That's a fighter that definitely has skills in Devin Haney. But the fear of losing it all, losing everything, is turning him into this fucking shell-up fighter, man. He doesn't have that hunger he had when he was exchanging big in the pocket with people. Like Linares, when he got exchanged and he got caught big. Because he was in there mixing it up. He's not doing that today.
Yeah, like for the Loma fight, he fought.
He fought.
Yeah, but he fought smart.
Yeah, but at least he fought.
Right.
He's not doing that now. Now all of a sudden he got this new fucking girlfriend, right? And he's got this new car, a newer car, and a bigger house and more chains. And got a bag from Turkey, and now he's being a less of a fighter. It's just I get it. I get it. You know what I'm saying? Look, sometimes I do shit in life, right? Let me ask you guys a question. Have you guys ever been in a situation in life where you've been doing something very terribly dangerous? You know what I'm saying? Like maybe you worked on a skyscraper and I don't know, man. You know those guys that clean the windows or fucking you're jumping off of a plane or something and you went through your job every day with the confidence like, nigga, I'm just getting this done. I'm just getting it done, right? And one day you actually thought about your situation. You're out there on the ledge and for the first time you look down. You look down and that shit scares the shit out of you. But this entire time you've been working up there. That's kind of like Devin Haney and some of these fighters. I think they got to the ledge. They finally got there and was like, oh man, how the fuck I got this? I couldn't believe it. I think they looked down, bro, and they realized where they were. Everything could be taken away from you like that. Like that.
I
You
feel like
know,
the
so
distractions get to the fighters, and they forget that there's always a new fighter out there training harder than them. You know?
yeah, yeah.
Well,
That's
that's where you got to step your game up and train even harder. The problem with today's society or today's boxers, they let social media, they let everything else control them, and they lose focus on where they're going, what their goals are, so on and so forth. You know what I'm saying? And I think that's the problem. Social media has destroyed this new generation. Everything is, if so and so on TikTok got this better than me, then I need to do better or I need to get that. And they'll get it by any means necessary. You see a lot of dudes that play with fire on the ones that be doing those quote unquote pranks on camera and shit like that.
yeah.
Bro, they be doing the dumbest shit that, had it been back in the day when there was no cameras, no nothing, bro, them dudes wouldn't be doing none of that shit because they know they're gonna get fucked up.
Right.
But now everything is on views, who's got more followers, who's this, who's that, and it fucked it up for this young generation.
Mm. You want to know what I think about this era right now in generation?
They
That
soft.
nah, check it out. That social media and the internet itself brought a lot of information to us. So much information, it seems like that everybody all of a sudden became smart and dumb at the same time. We knew a bunch of shit, we didn't retain it. The biggest problem in my life is retaining information. As for me, I might learn something that means really makes a lot of sense to me and I could apply it in my life. But no sooner before that day is finished, I have come across so much other shit throughout the internet that I forget the lesson that I learned in that day. It's hard to retain the information, let alone apply it in my everyday life. I might know something, nod at it, and say that would work for me, but never use it. We think because of the fact that we browse and sweep through the internet and we learn at a rapid pace that we we actually learned and absorbed all of that. And we're a bunch of smart, dumb motherfuckers, is what we are right now. Because so much knowledge is at our fingertips, but so rarely do one person really use the knowledge that they actually learned and apply it in their everyday life. They nowadays, these kids, what they look up for is slick shit to say, great quotes, and they go back and tell their friends the great quote, but never actually using it in their day-to-day life. And I think that's what the internet did for us. That it gave us too much at once, and everybody wanted to be a fucking scientist, but not learn as we go. And that's my biggest problem. That I learn things in life, and I do see some shit that I say to myself, man, if I can apply that in my life, but no sooner that my day's over, man, I forget that shit. I gotta remember to write shit down and apply it.
Yo, speaking of Bang Bang just said not Zayas, but speaking of Zayas, did you see what Chino Perez said about Zayas?
No.
He said he's gonna knock Zayas the fuck out.
When did he say that?
I saw it on Contra Golpeo.
Really?
Yeah. He said he's gonna knock
But
Zayas out.
in the video, or they just quote it.
No, well, it's quoted. I didn't see the video, but the quotation here. I'll put it up real quick. Let me see if I can get it here.
I hear you. I hear you. It's just that, you know, sometimes people be writing stuff out there just for clicks, for attention.
I'm going to knock out Zayas. Chino Garcia promises war. I doubt it. Bro, the way he looked against Conwell, he did good against Conwell, but I don't think he's got what it takes to beat Zayas. I'm
Yeah,
sorry.
and Zayas can box a lot better than Conwell.
Yo, what I'm afraid of is his awkward style, that he could slip in a punch on Xander Zayas. Typically, when you think he should not be punching,
He's
Perez
punching.
is throwing a punch. Yeah. And he did that to Conwell. The one good thing with Conwell, he kept him frustrated and kept him, you know, trying to come in. He was the much taller fighter. I think that Perez did good, you know, mixing it up with him and like really not allowing Conwell to push him back and to bully him.
I think what happened with Conwell in that fight, he was gun shy.
He just couldn't catch up to him.
Right. And Zayas, I don't think Zayas.
Huh?
What was that?
Conwell sort of didn't really change his plan. Like, he just kept coming forward. Like, he didn't
really make no adjustments.
Right.
I don't think he could have because of how awkward Chino was.
And that's my point, Frontline.
Right. I expect Zayas to go down and up. Like, start at the body and then go to the head.
Right.
See, the difference between Conwell and Zayas, and I'm not saying Conwell doesn't have a good jab. He does, but he didn't utilize it. Zayas, he utilizes his arsenal. Zayas will hit you with a jab and at the same time poke you on the down at the bottom and then come back up top. So it is gonna be a war. It just depends.
What impresses me the most about Zayas is that the combinations. Some fights that I've seen him, when he throws them combinations, it's like he practices that shit daily at the gym or something. Like he knows what to throw, when to throw it, and how to throw it. Like, I don't know how to explain it.
So far, every Mexican fighter that Zayas has fought, he's dropped them. I'm not saying he beat him by knockout, but he's dropped every Mexican fighter he's fought so far. And how he's dropped them? With a nasty body shot.
Yep.
So that's going to be the key factor. Is he going to attack the body? Is he going to attack the body early? And I think there was one boxer that he caught him. I think it was not Espinoza. It begins with an E though. But he dropped him with a coming in with a jab and dropped him. Who was it? I'll tell you.
What was that fight? I remember that fight. It was
in the first.
He did. I remember, but he didn't stop that dude. He
went the distance with him.
No, Pereira's Brazilian.
Brazilian, right? Brazilian.
He Xander he dropped him, but he didn't finish him. I remember he went the distance. I think it was like an 8-round scheduled fight.
Who was it? Let me see. Hold on. Nope, it wasn't him. It was it Venezuela? No. Salazar.
Elias Espada.
Nope, Salazar. Alexis Salazar Flores.
Flores.
Was it that? Yeah, it was that one. No, Elias Espada. You're right. And Xander knocked him out in the 5th round.
Yo, every time he fight, I get excited, man.
Connect.
He remind me of
Yeah.
Cotto, and Matias remind me of fucking Tito, man.
Damn, I got the big screen now, huh?
Yo, how did he get the big screen? Hold on. What? Oh. Wait. I got no. What the hell is this? Oh,
Se salió.
what the hell? Wait a minute. Wait. Hold. 1 second. Aha. There we go. Yo, the show is called Boxing Outcome for like 2 seconds, bro.
Yo, so Bang Bang makes a good point.
What's up?
It's a perfect tune-up fight for a unification fight for the winner of Fundora versus Tim Tszyu.
Oh yeah.
Because if you think about it, Chino's about the same height, if not just a little bit shorter than Fundora. He's a tall, awkward fighter.
Yeah, that has me concerned. Just his awkwardness. But I'm fairly confident in Xander's ability. I'm confident in his boxing. I don't like when people don't say that, oh, he's not a knockout artist or this, and he doesn't have a big punch or whatever. Those fucking punches hurt. Okay. And the accumulation of punches can definitely put any man down. All right. So, and I know that Xander is going out there trying to get the knockout. His last fight, he was clearly winning the entire fight. And what did he do the last 2 rounds? He went out there, he got caught in that last round too. He got caught big coming in, and he still was going forward. So it speaks to Xander's his mindset. He's not okay with just the win. Okay. He wants these big fights, these big moments, and he's looking to end his opponent. So I like him when it comes to his warrior spirit. He's not letting off the gas, coasting. Oh, I got this fight won. Let me just run for the last round. He's not that type of fighter. So I got to give it to him when it comes to that. So I know he's going to fight Perez tooth and nail, whether he wins, lose, or draw. I can expect when Xander fights, it's going to be a fight.
Yep.
Yeah, and I like that Tim Tszyu and Fundora, because Fundora he just let go of the title so he could go back and try to win it again. That makes sense.
What you want to listen? Look. Let the title go to win and make sense. Shit. Check this out. You could have kept everything and still fought Tim Tszyu. If you think you're gonna go back and beat Xander and win the belt back, then why vacate the belt? Just whoop his ass, then go fight Tim Tszyu. You still have 2 belts. If it was that easy, why give up a belt just to fight Tim Tszyu for 1 belt, right? What was your plan? Fight Tim Tszyu for 1 belt, then double back and get your belt back from who? From Perez or Xander Zhang? That's too messy. If you really think you could have beat any of those guys, fuck it, fight them. Tim Tszyu still be there.
I think
ego maybe got in the way, like social media and stuff, like he was saying earlier, and then people were saying, "Oh, you wouldn't have beat him if that wouldn't happen," and the blood and all that.
You know what? I think Tim Tszyu's a more dangerous fighter than Fundora.
Yeah, but he's also a bigger money fight than Fundora.
Yes.
Tim Tszyu's following out there in the land down under, fucking, you're gonna make way more money than fighting Zender Zion that has never competed for a world title yet or won a world title.
Yeah, but Zaya's got a following too, though.
Yeah, but once Xander Zayas gets that world title and Fedora beats Tim Tszyu for the second time, now you probably got a better fight. Yes, because it not only is a unification,
What, you
but
think Fedora beats Zoo?
oh yeah, oh
You
yeah,
think so?
oh yeah, oh yeah, he's gonna beat the shit out of Zoo. You know why? You know why I think that? You take away that cut. Let's say the cut never happens. Let's say there's
Oh
no
no,
blood.
we can't say that, bro. I'm a Tim
Let-
Tszyu fan, bro.
Okay, check it out. Check it out. Check it out. Check it out. Take away the blood from Tim Tszyu and tell me what you saw. I saw Tim Tszyu at the most aggressive, throwing the hardest punches, trying to fucking end Sebastian Fundora because he thought the fight was going to be stopped. In fact, he broke Sebastian Fundora's nose, but that's all he did. For
Yeah,
all
but
his
Yeah,
mentally,
but the blood kept getting in his eye.
wait, guys. What I'm judging it by is I clearly saw Sebastian Fedora take Tim Tszyu's best punches for 12 rounds. I clearly saw that. I clearly saw him take Tim Tszyu's power. And no matter if the blood was in his face or not, the question was, could he take Tim Tszyu's power for 12 rounds? Bro, he did it.
Yeah, but George makes a good point. If you go to the
but focus,
scorecards on
listen,
that card,
mentally focus on the defense. You know, tú te estás volviendo loco cuando la sangre está corriendo por la cara tuya, bro.
Yeah, and you're changing your fight plan.
but
Tim Tszyu changed his fight plan to be fighting more reckless and more abandoning, what he had practiced for because so much blood was coming in that he felt like he needed to take the fight to Sebastian Fedora. So I can admit that.
now I gotta
I
look
can
it up.
I can admit that Tim Tszyu changed his fight plan and that he took more risks and he got caught with shots he shouldn't have got caught with because he would have been more defensively fundamentally sound. Okay, I can agree with that. But still, nevertheless,
So
he
that
didn't
fight, hold
drop
on.
him.
I'm gonna school you real quick, round one.
Okay, class is in session.
So that fight with Tim Tszyu, you're saying that the outcome would have never been different. Fundora won that fight by a split decision.
Mm-hmm.
Now, had Tim Tszyu not had that blood in
Mm-hmm.
his face,
Mm-hmm.
I believe,
Mm-hmm.
I believe
Mm-hmm.
that Tim Tszyu would have won that fight.
Okay. Okay. Now, had that blood not been in his face, it probably wouldn't have made Tim Tszyu fight as aggressive that he did. And I don't think the fight would have been closer. I think if he didn't have any blood in his face, he probably would have tried to sit back a little bit and work his way in the inside. And that might have would have cost him even more. I think the blood in his face actually awoken the dog inside of him and it made him take the fight to Sebastian Fundora, which actually, in fact, made it a closer fight. If Tim Tszyu doesn't have any blood or no rush to engage with him, he might have fought a different kind of fight, might have fell back in the scorecards, and at the end, the later rounds, he might have tried that pressure on him, and it might have been a little too late for him. The fact that he got the cut and it brought the animal out of Tim Tszyu, he was taking the fight to Sebastian Fundora. But I think the next time they fight, Tim Tszyu has no blood in his face. He's going to try to be more technical.
I still stand on for
Watch.
Zayas. I think that the harder fight for Zayas would be Tim Tszyu. I still stand on that. I think he would break Fundora down a lot easier than he'll break Tim Tszyu down.
I think so too. Yeah, I can agree with that for sure.
Yeah, you think so?
Because Zayas works the
Gonna go
body.
with y dame. And Fundora, the awkwardness, he's gonna be able to get in there somehow.
I think Zayas with Fandora. I think you gotta understand Fandora's so tall that his torso is open,
Mm.
and Zayas will break that tree down round after round after round. With Tim Zoo, él se va a tener que joder.
Yeah.
That's just my opinion.
Well, you know, a lot of these fights, that's why we break them down and we talk about them because
But against Chino,
Don't
Xander
forget
Zayas is
now, Ennis
coming
just
home
moved
with the
up
belt.
too.
you think so? He's coming home with the belt.
Zayas is coming home with the belt. He's bringing that shit right to Puerto Rico.
We
Yes,
need,
sir. Yes, sir.
we need some of them belts, man, because if we can get that Zayas belt and that Subriel belt, oh, you know what I'm saying? You know, we need a couple of these belts right here. So, man, listen, guys, I'm about to cut this video right here short. Well, it hasn't been short, but listen, thank you for everybody tuning in. Thank you for everybody commenting, showing your love and support on the on round one sports talk. Please do me a favor on your way out. Don't forget to hit that like button. Hey, yo, boxing outcome. Hit the like button. Frontline. Don't you forget to hit that like button. I'm gonna hit the like button. You know what I'm saying? So fight fans. I'm on to the next one after this one here at Round One Sports Talk. My guests on the show, you guys have been amazing. Shouts out to both of you guys. And I'm out.
Suave,
Peace.
buddy.